Volatility, aka the VIX, was telling us that we had a 95% chance to see an update in the next two trading sessions, and we pop up on Monday, and Trump, of course, comes back and walks back on some stuff like he normally does, and everyone's out there concerned that some people might be insider trading. And we mentioned the Bitcoin guy who opened up that account made a huge amount of 10 times his money in one day. And now we'll have to see what happens. But overall, we have to move forward with this because volatility was down by over 10%, which means we actually have an 85% chance for a down day in the next two trading sessions. So let's get into it as we look into the day ahead, as we look into Tuesday, where Jerome Powell is apparently speaking before the afternoon begins Central Time. All right, let's get into it. Real quick, if you're new here, make sure to pause real quick and get those purple lines and these yellow lines on there. The weekly expected moves for this week, pretty volatile week ahead. But the main thing for today is we got something that was slightly unexpected for Monday. So it does make sense that we do close the day outside of today's daily expected moves. Makes total sense, but we have some new ones for you. Those lines here would be 667.80 to the upside, and we do have for the SPY 658.28 to the downside. So this is going to be very key because, as you can see, the 2 hour is still close enough to that center line where it could see one of these moments where it's just able to figure its stuff out, right? As we go negative, we would like to see that thing go even further negative, so we have to make potential divergences or something like that. But as of right now, if the 2 hour would cross up, it means what? It is still leaning towards what? It's kind of leaning towards a test of this high, and you have to see how it goes. It is close enough to the center line where you would suggest if that gets a solid confirmation here, then you most likely are testing in this block up here or potentially going to make a new high. Now, the weekly expected move is not suggesting that as of right now. But what we like to do is use a shorter time frame, the 30-minute chart, in order to really see if the 2 hour chart's going to turn around. So have we seen the 30-minute high or low? Have we seen the 30-minute divergence created yet? No, we haven't. So something that we'll look for tomorrow, if we're looking for the higher low, then where would we look at? Well, right in this area, right? We notice that there's some good buyers right in here, and right in that is our daily expected move. So if we're able to come down to these type of areas, especially early on in the day, right? Early on before Jerome Powell talks, and then we see a little blip down here and we confirm to the upside to go positive, that's what can really turn this 2 hour into an upward move, into at least a test of this area. So I'd be paying attention to that. But as far as the negative side goes, it would go 2 hour crosses up. We can test this high, potentially go make a new one. A little less chance for that one as of right now, but we'll see. If the 30-minute confirms down and this selling actually mattered, then that would be where there is potential to make a new low. If you are able to make the new low, that's where you start to see the rolling continue. So something that we will look out for is a higher low here by this 658.28 to the downside for tomorrow's daily expected move. And we will pay attention for potential double bottoms and divergences and things like that in case we get a shakeout of volatility and you see this confirm back up. Well, then make sure that you are paying attention if any kind of divergence is there. And I will post a picture to Patreon tomorrow if I do see any kind of divergence formed. That way you are aware of it. There is something I wanted to go over as we flip over to the Qs. I did have someone email me who was taking the course that was down in the description over the weekend. It was on sale. 607.72 to the upside for the Qs. Like these ranges is what I need to go over. 608 actually is the one. 608.94. So I just briefly though, just for a quick understanding, this is a weekly expected move. So 68% of the time, you're going to close by Friday close, by the end of the week, by 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, whatever it is for you, closing on Friday, you will land within these moves 68% of the time. But what I gave out on Patreon is the 95% line. Now, I suggested that I don't think we are going to end up at the 95% line, the second standard deviation, but that would look something like this, right? We would have a bigger range overall, and it would say, hey, we have a 95% chance to close in this area. So I did give out those numbers over on Patreon, but I also said I think it's highly unlikely that we hit those numbers just because we actually got the sell-off during market hours. So it could already be pricing itself in to that options data last week. So I think that data would be priced into our weekly expected moves this week. That's just a brief little thing that I wanted to go over for one of our members out there, for someone who has taken the course. They had a question, and I thought we would tackle it for everybody because we like to, if someone asks a question, there's no such thing as a dumb question. And if we need to answer it and I think it can help a lot of people, then we're going to mention it during the actual YouTube videos to help as many people as possible. Let's go into that 2-hour chart, and you'll see what the 2-hour chart's still really, really close to that center line. Does this look bafflingly low? Does this look like let's look at where this thing really went negative? Are we looking like this? Are we looking way down like this, like we need to make a divergence? Are we looking way down over here like we need to make a divergence? No, we're still really close to that center line. So paying close attention to the 2-hour chart here in case this thing does turn back up will be a big deal. Now, we mentioned over the weekend, we were talking about right left head and right shoulders. So that would be a potential 2-hour lower high. So this is a critical area for the Qs, very critical area. So as we get 607.72 to the upside, we get 596.30 to the downside. If this 2-hour does cross up, you would say test the high. If we reject and curl down, well, that was just to help the rich people's friends get out of their positions since they weren't able to do it on Friday. That's what I truly believe. Now, this could be a time where we make a new high. We'll look out for divergences and things like that, another point of divergence. But I think a trap number 4 is very unlikely here. I think we could mess around in this area for a period of time to kind of build some kind of right shoulder. But I don't necessarily think that this is going to be the absolute moment where we just squeeze to the upside. I could be wrong. That's perfectly fine. I'll look at those confirmations. If the 2-hour curls up, there is a chance of a squeeze to the upside. That's how you treat it as a trader. As the 30-minute chart suggests, though, do we see many inclinations, many things that are saying that the 2-hour is just going to cross up? We don't see any of that evidence, okay? So as we get that 607.72, as we get this now, the topic here, 596.30 for the Qs, well, we'll be looking out for what? Divergence, right? We'll look out for divergences because that turns up what? 2-hour charts. And if that 2-hour chart turns up, what's happening? We just said it, test the high, go make a new one. That's where you have potential to squeeze. So it's good as a trader to be aware of this, but also the higher low. If we come down to this area and you see this blip on the 30-minute and then Jerome Powell comes out and says some fruity good stuff for the market, well, then that could curl up. And if you see this 30-minute curl up, it's a dead shot that the 2-hour is confirming up right here. And it's pretty safe to say that this is going to test high, go make a new one. That will put us outside of the weekly expected move. So I am not leaning towards this. I am more so leaning towards maybe a divergence at this point or something like that. But we will see what the market overall shapes up. The VIX right now, we're going to go over the VIX in a moment. The VIX is overall suggesting the topping signals are still there. VIX is still confirmed with those topping signals. VIX is still in a great cycle move. VIX is overall suggesting here that the 30-minute can still curl up into positive territory. We have not gone back below the 5-day moving average. The 2-hour chart was able to cross down, so we could be in that 2-hour pullback mode. So we could reach up to test a little bit higher for a test of that high to make that right shoulder for the market. But overall, as it stands, if the 30-minute curls up into positive territory, we will look for a lower high. We will look for a divergence point from the 30-minute. But for now, that would suggest that we will have some sort of downside. And VIX is up on the right side of your screen. Or I'm sorry, it was down by 12.15%. That tells us that the SPY has an 85% chance to post a down day, some kind of negative day, in the next 2 trading sessions. What does that do for us? That could be a pullback. It could be something interesting, like we could see a 30-minute down. We could see a collapse. And so this is what I wanted to talk about at the end of the video. A lot of people over the weekend were talking about crash. What did we say about stock market crash? It is very unlikely that this is a crash. Even if it looks volatile, it's most likely going to be a weekly pullback. As of right now, the signal still suggests that this is highly likely to still be your weekly pullback just beginning. And so just pay attention to if the 2-hour turns up, we might extend that floor for a trap 4. I'm not leaning towards that. The other thing is, if you are going to see an actual drop come in, and this is all the right shoulder that you need, this could be the moment where you do see something crazy and you do end up at that monthly or weekly expected move by the end of the week, where you are highly likely to set up those reversal signals and get some kind of meaningful 2-hour bounce. So these are all the critical things. This is the area where you need to test to see, are you going to get that roll to happen, or are we going to set up some kind of divergence or higher low? Having your mindset on all three of those scenarios would be very, very good. The one that I'm kind of leaning towards, I know that this will be crazy to say, but it's the end of the video. Let's say which one I'm leaning towards. So in my mind, this needs to be a 2-hour move. So this needs to be like a 2-hour lower high over here, just like we discussed last week, a 2-hour lower high over here, right? Remember, left head, right shoulder. So I thought something that would be very, very interesting here, be very cool, is what if something bad happens, the market goes down, we set up a 30-minute divergence, then we actually go see that 2-hour move, then we see the 2-hour move actually fail, and we actually turn to the downside with the left head and right shoulder. I think that would make this market the trickiest. I'm kind of leaning towards it at this point, but overall, I'm just sitting comfy, trading back and forth my volatility options. So I'm very happy, and I hope you are too. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to join Patreon, the link's down there in the description. If you guys want to like and subscribe to this channel to keep getting these daily expected moves every day, that would be awesome. And I hope that overall this information is helpful to you, because that is the very, very prominent goal of this channel, is just to put out information that can actually be helpful to you and talk about these charts so that you can maybe understand a little bit better on how these stocks actually move. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. Peace out.